Alright, hello, welcome back to the visual novel Research Bonanza series. This is the thoughts and notes video for week 2, part 1. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm going to need to split this one into 2, just because, this game is quite a bit. So without further ado, Code Realize, Guardian of Rebirth, everyone. So this game here is one of the otome games in the jar. And upon playing it this week, I've come to discover that it really puts the novel in visual novel. Yeah, this one is quite a long game. There's a lot of reading to do, and I'm not against that. I actually do quite enjoy the plot here. And all that stuff. And I did manage to but like the reason why I've got to take, an extra week to kind of do this one is that I spent most of this week just getting through the common route here and trying to, get through 8 chapters, right? Essentially, plus the 5 chapters for, the guys, for like each of the guys have 5 chapters to their route, so like you have a total of 13 chapters for sort of each run, and or at least that first run. I ended up with Saint Germain on that first one, and fortunately I did manage to get a good end, so as soon as I got that, I was able to unlock the Path of Genesis function, which allows me to sort of hop in on different characters' routes and just play through the end, just for the story. Because if I have to play this over and over and over again from the start, I might cry. It's not that I don't enjoy this game, it's just that there are a lot of little things that can happen in this game, and like small details, and I don't really want to miss things, right? And just keep looping in it. Like, I want to enjoy the game, but I can understand that, with the difficulty, the difficulty comes in getting, making the right choices in this case. And this particular game does a really good job of creating that sort of like choose your own adventure kind of situation, and really forcing you to pay attention to, what's going on, and like treating this as though it's like a a novel or a manga or whatever. Like, it is the vehicle for this plot, and it's you don't really have a lot of room to sort of lose focus, especially with a retinue of very good looking guys, kind of thing, right? So yeah, so part 1 here, I'm probably just going to cover some things about the common route, mainly because that's what I've dealt with all week, and then I'm just going to play that. For week 2, or at least next week, I'll probably put up a video covering some of the individual main lead routes, because that's what I finally have time to, take a look at and play properly. I know it shows that I've gotten Saint Germain and Van Helsing's route, but it's also because I fell for the trap. I kind of liked Lupin from, this beginning part, and I did not look at any reviews or any guides or anything this time, and did not realize that Lupin does not get unlocked until after you have unlocked everybody else's good end. So, you can say maybe I do like this game enough, or maybe it's the completionist in me, like seeing that it is possible, but I do want to take the time to get to Lupin's roots after everything. Yeah. At least this time I can't really say, like, I am not really the demographic for this one. I do like what I think, for the most part, like, I can accept the story as it is. It's not feeling very, weirdly... I don't feel too, like, about some of the, more narrative choices, because, of the demographic that this is aimed towards. This has been a ride. I have been enjoying this. again, so, just saying that. So one of the main things for this one that I found to be interesting, aside from Lupin, or I guess because he's here, maybe I can just keep talking about him for a little longer. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I will talk about Lupin a little longer, because I can then talk about, the whole thing about this. Lupin interests me just because, like, he's very much the game favorite. Like, he is main dude. Like, everyone and their mother knows this. He's kind of like set up to be the main. But also, I was getting a good laugh when I was like, going through notes for this one, because it's constantly like, hold on, Lupin he's funny, and he's dramatic, and he's quite suave, kind of thing, and like he, seems like a lot of fun to hang around, and has the slightly serious, broody, capable of being very broody kind of haircut, for as far as like anime boy goes. But like, again, he's got that like slightly brighter personality, or like a slightly funnier personality to go with it. That like, it's kind of like, Buddy's the whole package. Yo, buddy, friend, save some traits for the others. Like, he's got a little bit of everything. So how are the other guys supposed to be, unique when, Lupin's this all over the place, right? In a good way, right? In a very attractive package. And then, fortunately, the others have shown that they have their own way of being, unique enough next to him. But it's just like, it was just kind of funny. And also part of the reason why I kind of fell into that trap. I was kind of thinking, yeah, maybe I'll just do one route and it'll be his. But then, like, not even into chapter 1, or the end of chapter 1, and I'm realizing that the options don't include Lupin in it. I was like, huh? I can choose all the other guys to hang out with, but I can't choose Lupin. And then I was like, did I fall off Lupin's route, like, that early? Like, no, apparently not. I mean, again, like I said, I've got to wait till I finish everybody else's route to get to his, and yeah. So I'm still a bit. I'll give it to the devs and stuff like that. I'll give it to the folks that wrote this. Like, that is a good call, actually. It does make me need to, try to get to know everybody as well, and like get the full sort of story as much as possible. But kind of on that topic about getting that full story, it's interesting that this particular game did not have, any of those like relationship meters or anything like that, just to show the affection meter or whatever, or gauges or whatever you want to call it. And this actually becomes really interesting for me, because it really forces the attention from the player to like sort of the plot, without really thinking about like, oh, getting any of the guys. Like, you don't have that information there, so it's really just kind of like down to what you've done. Like, your choices really do matter. Like, really ups the stakes, because you don't know what the consequences are necessarily going to be, right? And that, again, that makes it a bit more difficult, but it does also kind of give it gives each of the choices in the story a little bit more gravity, right? Despite not even having, like, there's this one, like, it very much is just the adventure, so there's no like battle menu or anything like that. It's really just down to the MC's choices, and boy, does she have a lot of choices. Oh man, I think I tried to figure out, like, I mean, there's a lot of bad math there, and like in my notebook right now, and I'm pretty sure I did the math wrong, so just ignore it. I'm not a math person, but it just be like, there's a lot of routes and a lot of points in which the story can diverge, but given that scope, then like that's kind of this is a pretty insane sort of undertaking, right? Just the sheer number of paths that the story can take. I mean, I guess a lot of them just end up being dead ends, but and I just end up going back to the main menu and starting from wherever, but you get what I mean, right? Like, there's a little bit more focus into like, what's going on, how do I answer these guys, like, what kind of choices am I making, how are they going to affect the story, how are they going to affect how well I can get further in the story. And it's quite focused like that. And I think it also ties in really well with some of the objectives, just being like, find daddy dearest, right? Especially with the main sort of the common route, right? Is find daddy dearest, you know, maybe see if daddy dearest is willing to do a bit of unmonstrification, right? Even though, like I said, I think he's probably going to just complain that you have not listened to him. You have not been a good girl. So, like, are you really going to be able to blackmail him into you know, helping you out here so you can, you know, go on to the second objective, you know, during the individual paths to, like, get the guy? I don't know, right? But either way, yeah, so Lupin here, back to Lupin here. Yeah, I'm going to probably just pause that for a sec, just so I can go a little bit further and ignore, you know, some of the graphics here. I do really like the graphics, don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah. But I think I've talked about most of what I wanted to say anyway for this section, and all that. So there is no draw for this week, again, just so that I can get through a little bit more of this game. You know, for the other, you know, main leads. And so I do think that, but, you know, the draws will pick up again afterwards, because I don't think I'm going to spend that long on this game. Like, past where I am, because I already have, what, 2 out of the 5 guys as routes? I guess if the common route, I do want to see what no route means, but, and if that leads me anywhere, but, aside from that, I think for just this game alone, like, I know there are, like, there's, like, is it spin-offs, fan stuff, fan discs? Just other things that come out for this game, right? Like, other, are they, like, sequels? I don't know, just, like, other parts to this, right? Like coming off of it, or within this franchise. But I don't think I'll be playing them unless curiosity gets the better of me. I think this has been quite enough for now. I think, or at least it'll be a while before I want to touch this game again. Touch. She can't touch anybody. She's gonna melt them. But yeah, you know, that kind of thing. So I am gonna probably end it here. Have a good week. You know, see you when I see you, if I see you. And yeah, I guess if anybody is interested, then week 2's, or sorry, not week 2's, part 2 will probably come up sometime next week. All right. Thanks for tuning in anyway. Bye.